Dear children, in this session we are going to see about the continuation of the prose Tsunami part 2 and 3. We have already discussed about the part 1 of this chapter, and now we are going to see about the second part and third part of this chapter Tsunami. First, I will tell the theme of the story. Part 2 is the story about a young British schoolgirl named Tilly Smith who had visited the Phuket beach in Thailand with her family to celebrate Christmas. On 26th December 2004, she and her entire family were on the beach. She and her mother noticed that the sea waves were slowly raising. It had started to foam and was making whirlpools. Although her mother was not much worried about the signs, Tilly could sense something was not right. Tilly remembered that her geography teacher had once mentioned that tsunamis can be caused by earthquakes, violent tremors, volcanoes, and landslides. She raised an alarm that the deadly waves were the signs of a tsunami. She informed her family and many people on the beach so that they could return to the hotel as soon as possible. Luckily, that hotel that Tilly's family was residing in could withstand the tsunami's impact, and they were all saved from the disaster. This is the theme of the story, second part. Now I'll explain the part 2 of this chapter, Tsunami, in detailed manner. Tsunami hit areas of Thailand as well. The story is about the Smith family who came to southern Thailand from southeast England to celebrate Christmas at a beach resort. Penny and Colin Smith had two daughters. Tilly Smith, a 10-year-old schoolgirl, and the other one was 7 years old. On the day of December 26, 2004, they had already experienced an earthquake in the morning. Now the tsunami was on its way. Penny Colin remembers seeing the water swelling as it kept coming in and making the beach smaller. She says she did not understand what was happening. Tilly, on the other hand, knew that something was not wrong. She could recollect what she had studied in her geography class back in England 2 weeks before she came to England for a vacation. As she saw the sea water rising and forming whirlpools, she recalled what she had seen in her class. It was a video of a tsunami that had hit the Hawaiian Islands in 1946. The teacher also told them causes of tsunamis, which can be earthquakes, volcanoes, and landslides. As soon as she realized what was happening, she started shouting at her family to get away from the beach. Her mother later said that she was referring to some earthquake under the sea, and she got terrified and uncontrollable. Penny said she did not know what a tsunami was, but seeing her daughter so terrified, she could anticipate that the situation was grave. Tilly's parents took their daughters to the hotel's swimming pool to get away from the beach. A number of tourists also followed them. Then they saw great waves coming after them as if it were the whole sea that had come out. Penny screamed for everyone to run out of danger's way. They took shelter on the third floor. The hotel building survived 3 tsunami waves. She further added that they wouldn't have been able to come out alive had they been at the beach. The Smith family later got the chance of meeting other tourists who had lost their entire families during the tsunami. All credit to Tilly and her geography lesson that they were forewarned. Tilly later retold the incident to her classmates in England. That's all about the part 2. Now let's move on to the third part. Third part is about the animal sense. Third part of the unit mentions the sixth sense of animals in identifying disastrous natural calamities. Many animals, both domestic and wild, could sense the coming of the tsunami during December 2004, and they rushed into their shelters and were hesitant to come out of their homes. Around 150,000 people lost their lives in a dozen countries, while in comparison only a few animals died in the disaster. The Yala National Park, located in Sri Lanka, is home to a huge variety of animals and birds. Almost 60 visitors died while only two animals' carcasses were found. Also, a few park people had observed that three elephants were running away from the Patnangala beach an hour before the tsunami struck it. In another incident, a Sri Lankan gentleman who lived near the Galle coast had two dogs who refused to go for a walk on the beach. This was indeed a warning signal for them and their master, who were saved from the massive impact of the tsunami. This is the theme of the story, third part, Tsunami. Now I'll explain the third part in detail. It is believed that prior to the gigantic waves entering the coast of India and Sri Lanka, wild and domestic animals knew what was ahead. This is because they ran out of danger's way to somewhere safe. A few eyewitnesses gave a first-hand description of how elephants ran for higher ground as they screamed. Flamingos too left their low-lying breeding grounds. Zoo animals ran into their shelters, and no amount of temptation was able to bring them out. Even dogs refused to go outdoors. It is well known among people that animals were intuitive towards the earth's shaking. Some experts are of the opinion that they can hear or feel earth's vibration in advance because they possess enhanced acute hearing abilities. That is why they can perceive an approaching disaster a lot earlier than humans. It is quite obvious that we cannot say surely that animals are intuitive and can sense the disaster early on, but the evidence quite point towards it. Fact says that gigantic waves on the Indian Ocean took 150,000 human lives, but not many animals were reported dead. At India's Cuddalore coast, where the waves took the lives of around 1,000 people, animals like buffaloes, goats, and dogs were recovered unharmed. On the other hand, in Yala National Park in Sri Lanka, 60 visitors got taken away by the water while no animals were harmed except two water buffaloes. A point to be noted here is that Yala National Park serves as a home to a large number of animals like elephants, leopards, and around 130 species of birds. In fact, people present at the Yala National Park reported seeing three elephants run away from the Patnangala beach at least an hour before the waves came in. In another incident, a Sri Lankan gentleman who lived near the Galle coast had two dogs who refused to go for a walk on the beach. This was indeed a warning signal for them and their master, who were saved from the massive impact of the tsunami. Dear children, the tsunami teaches a lesson to students that a tsunami is a natural disaster that causes massive destruction and immense loss to life and property. In each story, we learned about hard life lessons and reassuring details of determination, courage, resilience, and survival. One should exhibit acts of courage, compassion, and responsibility in the tough struggle of endurance and restoration. It's all about this chapter, children. Now let's move on to the word meanings. First one is resort, a place where people go on holiday. Next one is Samudra, it is a large island. Next one is whirlpool. See the picture? A quickly rotating mass of water in a river or sea into which objects may be drawn, typically caused by the meeting of conflicting currents. Next one is hysterical, affected by or deriving from uncontrolled emotion. When you are hysterical, you shout, laugh or cry in a wild, excited way without any control over yourself. The next one is refuge. Refuge means shelter or protection from danger. Next one is withstood, endured without collapsing. Next one is surge. Surge means force, momentum. Next one is slammed, hit something with great force. Next one is fled. Fled means run away from a place or situation of danger. The next one is eyewitness, a person who has seen something happen and can give a first-hand description of it. Enticed. Enticed means attract or else tempt by offering pleasure or advantage. The next one is sixth sense. Sixth sense means a supposed intuitive faculty giving awareness not explicable in terms of normal perception. Next one is acute hearing. Acute hearing means reacting readily to stimuli or impressions, sensitive. Next one is perished, die especially in a violent or sudden way. Last one is carcasses, the dead body of an animal. That's all about this chapter. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon for the upcoming videos. Until then, we'll meet you in the next session. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Bye-bye.